Well, I don't touch on any political themes when I'm doing stand-up comedy because I'm not that much of a political person. Within this political time, when you talk about the candidates, it's very hard for me to talk about it because there's things on both sides that aren't really standard.
We've heard you talk about the former president. You have called him a fraud, a con artist. You've said he's a New Yorker like you, and you have watched this brand of BS.
Kevin Hart just pulled out his famous "Are you serious?" stare while mocking Trump's bizarre handshakes on live TV. You know it's bad when even De Niro says he refuses to be bullied at my age by someone like this.
So I can't talk. I can't speak about a guy that I just have nothing good to say about.
It changed it all.
Well, I think when those things came out, it was just simply about a guy doing something that was a goal. But that was before a guy opened up his mouth and you found out who that person was. So I don't even remember the things that were said because right now they've been taken away by hearing a masquerade of things now.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him. There's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see ever. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler.
Trump's claims about windmills causing cancer had Hart literally doubled over laughing. The comedy duo didn't just criticize, they absolutely demolished Trump's ego with jokes that hit harder than facts ever could. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
I wanted to ask you if your film, What Now, touches on any political themes, and if not, what political candidate, presidential candidate, Trump or Clinton, would be better for your routine?
I think there's a lot of problems in our world today that aren't really being addressed properly, so I choose to not speak on it at all. I'm a person that loves love. I'm a person that loves to bring people closer together, and if you don't stand for that...
Ever wonder how a comedian half Trump's size managed to make him look smaller than ever? Kevin Hart just showed us all how it's done. During his recent appearance, Hart unleashed a comedic beatdown on Trump that had audiences rolling in the aisles and the former president fuming on his social media platform. Hart didn't need heavy political analysis or fancy words to take Trump down a notch. He simply turned his physical comedy skills loose on Trump's weird handshakes and bizarre mannerism.
I think of how absurd it is, and this might be the one case where that could be it for him. It's a state case. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our systems.
You know those awkward Trump handshakes where he yanks people toward him like he's trying to start a lawnmower? Hart recreated it perfectly, jerking around on stage like a puppet with tangled strings. The audience was howling louder than Trump when someone suggests he release his tax returns. While serious political commentators bore us with facts and figures about Trump's failures, Hart took a completely different path. He mimicked Trump's infamous eclipse-staring moment, tilting his head back and squinting directly at an imaginary sun while the audience screamed warnings. "Don't do it, Mr. President. The big bright thing will hurt your eyes," Hart yelled in his impression of a terrified aide. Then he switched to Trump's voice. "Fake news. The sun loves me. We have a great relationship."
Does it give you some sense, not of joy, but of relief at least, that he's potentially facing some consequences? Because as you've said before, this guy's a con artist and he's gotten away with it for years.
I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong.
That signature Kevin Hart, "Are you serious?" stare became the perfect visual representation of what most Americans feel watching Trump's press conferences. Hart didn't even need words, just that deadpan look when recreating Trump's claim about being a stable genius. One raised eyebrow from Hart said more than 1,000 fact checkers could. The comedy gold really struck when Hart repeated Trump's actual quote about windmills causing cancer. Hart didn't embellish or exaggerate, he didn't need to. "The sound from windmills causes cancer," Hart quoted in his Trump voice before breaking character to tell the audience, "That's not my joke, that's his actual words." The crowd was in tears because, as Hart put it, the truth is funnier than fiction with this orange turd. Hart's impression of Trump trying to read a teleprompter was brutal. He's up there squinting like the teleprompter owes him money, Hart joked, hunching over and peering suspiciously at imaginary words. The United States of... Where am I again? Oh right, America. I made it great again, by the way. So great. The greatest greatness that ever grated. The comedian's physical recreation of Trump's awkward ramp-walking incident at West Point demonstrated how body language can communicate what words sometimes can't. Hart tiptoed across the stage in tiny baby steps, clutching an invisible railing for dear life. Is he afraid of slopes? Is that why he can't understand downward economic trends? Hart quipped. Trump's infamous Twitter habits became Hart's comedic playground. This is a grown man, a world leader, who couldn't tell the difference between there and there. Hart ranted. My 8-year-old gets that right on her homework, but Grumpy Trumpy over here is threatening North Korea with nuclear war and can't pass 3rd grade English. Hart pantomimed Trump hunched over his phone at 3 a.m., typing with his thumbs and making angry faces. Hart's comedy routine wasn't just funny, it was a masterclass in disarming an intimidator by turning their supposed strengths into punchlines. Trump has always tried to project an image of strength and power, but Hart stripped that away layer by layer until all that remained was a thin-skinned man with weird habits and questionable literacy skills. The audience's uproarious reaction showed how shared laughter can transform feelings of helplessness into collective empowerment. When a room full of people laughs at a bully's expense, that bully suddenly seems less intimidating. Each joke landed like a tiny pin, deflating Trump's inflated self-image bit by bit. This comedic takedown set the perfect stage for Robert De Niro's more direct approach. While Hart dismantled Trump with humor, De Niro opted for brutal honesty. The legendary actor didn't hide behind jokes or impressions. He went straight for the jugular with his trademark intensity. This man is a con artist, a fake tough guy born with a silver spoon who pretends to care about working people, De Niro declared, his voice steady and unwavering. The combination of Hart's mockery followed by De Niro's gravitas formed a 1-2 punch that left Trump's image battered. What we witnessed with Hart and De Niro wasn't just entertainment, it was a masterclass in speaking truth to power. While Hart weaponized laughter, De Niro brought the gravitas, proving you don't need to match a bully's tactics to stand your ground. De Niro really went for the jugular when he warned that resisting intimidation isn't just personal courage, it's about collective action. If he gets in, I can tell you right now he will never leave, De Niro cautioned, sending shivers through the audience. Is that the country we want to live in? Powerful stuff from a man who doesn't mince words. Together, these two showed that whether you use humor or hard truths, integrity beats intimidation every time. The Orange Menace might throw tantrums and threats, but he's powerless against Americans who simply refuse to be bullied.